Hello, and welcome to the About Healing podcast, a show created for those on or awakening into their spiritual journeys, and who are ready, wanting, and learning how to heal themselves. I am your host, About Healing medium and certified spiritual healer, Sheree Buckman. It is my purpose to guide others to the path of self-healing and to inspire those on their spiritual journeys in finding their truths. Join me as I share my experience and unfiltered perspective in healing, as well as the incredible wisdom of the loving energy that guides us. Let's begin. Hello and good day, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode. Hello and good morning, Miss Copper.
Good morning.
How's it going for you over in Texas these days? Like, is it disgusting hot being in November, or are you actually getting some relief?
It's actually been really beautiful, and I feel like, a lot of Texans would disagree with me because it is cold. We're having a cold snap, but, I love it. So, the air is crisp, it's nice to be outside. We had a one of mine had a birthday over the weekend, and we literally had, like, a campfire outside and watched a movie out there, and just, it's exciting to be able to breathe outside air without being miserable. So I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it.
I was going to say that's actually a really big deal when you can go outside in the Houston area and have a
Yeah.
fire without melting yourself.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, everyone. I did start the episode about talking about weather. Make it, yes, I'm aware of this, but it's for a reason too. It's a big deal. I am strongly affected by weather.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Um, I'm especially affected by like sun versus no sun. So on sunny days for me are very powerful days. I don't know how else to word that. So, but
Why not? I get it.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. So that's interesting because bringing that up, I love like dark and overcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I thrive in that, which is really interesting. Of course, I like my sunny days too, don't get me wrong. I like the sun and I like being outside. However, it's just I don't know. My husband says I'm the oddest person in the world. I had this conversation with someone else recently and they totally got me. And I'm like, "Oh, thank God there's somebody else out there that really loves a good, like, rainy day." Like, I love it. I thrive in it. I don't know what it is. I'll even turn, like, a YouTube channel on when it's I like listening like, my routine in the mornings on the weekends when there's nothing going on, it's part of, like, my relax time. I go on YouTube and they have these beautiful, like jazzy music stations, but it has these really cool backgrounds, and I always pick, like, the rainy day ones. Yeah.
I do appreciate a gloomy day. I do. A gloomy month? Eh.
Like, no, I could do that. I could do that, and that's what I told my husband, like, we could totally live in Seattle, like, I could thrive in that environment, and he looked at me as if I had 3 eyes. Funny, 3 eyes, that's what we're talking about today. Um, it's not a good segue, I still have announcements, so I can't get
Yeah,
going yet.
that's not, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get out of it, but the only point was too in bringing up that weather, like, it's getting cold here and everything's changing, and along we have with the seasons, we have just the time of year and the holidays coming. You know, for me, on Halloween, I'm in Michigan, we got snow. We got our first snow of the season. We were freezing. We didn't know what holiday we were celebrating, so that was fun. You know, with all of that and us getting into we're in November now, so being November when we're actually recording this and when this first airs, it's that month of gratitude. This is where we all kind of sit down. It's our Thanksgiving time. It is where we like to be thankful for all the things in our life. And one way that what I like to do with this, especially within my purposeful work, I've been doing this now for a couple of years. Twice a year, I do a gratitude giveaway. And so one of them is in November of every year. And gratitude giveaway is that time for me to always stay in gratitude for the work that I do, for the people in my life, the supporters, my clients, the listeners out there, the whole package. I don't ever, and it's funny because the whole phrase, I don't ever want to be too big for my britches, as they say. And not really about that. I want to always be able to give back. So, gratitude giveaway is now live and active, which is I do a big drawing in this month to give away a free mediumship session with me. So, you are getting the full session, and the only way to enter this is you're going to have to go on social media. Sorry, everybody. You're going to have to go find me on social media for this. You have to find me on Instagram or Facebook. And I am at About Healing Medium. That's where you're going to find me. And there is one post, and you'll have to go in there. It was posted on November 1st, and it said gratitude giveaway entry post. This is the only place you can go. And then in the comment, there's no strings attached, not at all. This is a real giveaway. Just go in there and tell me you're interested. I want to be entered. I would love, a free session. And then on November 20th, I actually do a drawing. I literally write names and little pieces of paper, and I put them in a cup or a jar, and I shake them up, and I set the intention, who needs to receive this, session. I draw it, and I contact that person. So that's it. That's how it works. So if you're interested, go find me on social media at About Healing Medium. And then the only other thing that I just wanted to mention real quick is another new thing that I'm just starting. I think every episode I get on here, starting this new thing. Yes, I am all over the place, everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I do know what I'm doing. I just don't, I don't know. My energy's everywhere. We're figuring it out. I'm going to master this eventually, but I'm going with my intuition here. And I felt so drawn to start a virtual group reading. Again, another way for me to be able to give healing messages and reach more people at one time. And, it's difficult. I live in a small town out in Michigan, so it's not easy to do live readings. So I'm starting a virtual one. They will be held on Zoom. The very first one will be held on Friday, November 10th. This will start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You will have to go onto my website and register. They are $25 tickets. That's it. So even if you were thinking like you wanted a reading, but you didn't want to quite commit, maybe financially, or you just want to kind of see what it's about, either way, you can register there. I do have limited seating in this because I want to keep them intimate. So if you want to reserve your seat, go on now. You can get those at abouthealingmedium.com, and you'll find it in the shop. So all those links are in the shop. Okay, so I don't know how far we're into this. It's been it feels like 20 minutes we've been talking. I don't think it's been that long, but let's go ahead and shift into this third eye chakra. Oh my goodness. I don't know why. I have been really looking forward to getting into these last two chakras. The third eye and the crown chakra will be the last one. But specifically today, we're on the sixth of the seven main chakras. So the third eye is actually located 1 inch. Okay, it's in the center of your forehead, but it's just 1 inch above your eyebrow. And it's located in the brain. So super interesting there. This chakra is about our connection to sight and inner sight, and our ability to focus and see the bigger picture. This is that place where clairvoyance comes from. And, I've been asked as a medium, like, how do you see, spirit when they come? Are they sitting here like with me, like how I see a person? And for me personally, because every single medium is different and everybody receives their messages very differently, I'm clairvoyant. I also have all the other clairs. I use all of them, but this is my most sensitive is my clairvoyance. It is my ability to see through my third eye. It is seeing within my mind, almost thinking of like imagination. I can see colors and movement. I can see it like a movie playing in my mind. This is kind of that place for everybody. It's that third eye. So this is also about possibilities, intuition, imagination, and wisdom. The third eye is connected with our brain, and it is also linked to working with our thinking and making decisions. So when it's healthy, right? We'll get more into that in a little bit. But it's also a place about balancing our spiritual aspects and our ego self. What? Yep. We're talking about our soul self, our spiritual aspects, and then that human part of ourself, that ego part, which is like that mental capacity. And so this is actually a very interesting and beautiful part. So if you are new to, maybe we were talking about spiritual awakenings or spirituality in general, and with this system, or like the third eye system, because we've talked about it with every chakra so far, on what age range, right, where this becomes fully developed. And this one here gets fully developed between the age of 35 and 42 years old. And there's a big however here. Now, while that may have been kind of a baseline in history's past, and it may still be a part of it now, but in the recent, pretty much the last decade or so, we have had this big burst in this difference of these kids coming into the world now. So now, with these new generations coming in, we're having children kind of coming in already awake or already connected to their spiritual self. And whether they don't have the actual words or the knowledge to go with that, and what I mean by that, they're really connected to a bigger knowing. They can see these bigger pictures. They can see above this ego or material plane and having more love and acceptance and things like that. So, they're coming in more aware of this. So this is a very fine line of, when this happens or not. And it's as you can see, it's becoming a generational difference. So getting back into the other, descriptor pieces of the third eye, I wanted to let you know because the color here is indigo. So traditionally the color is indigo, which is like that deep, deep blue purple. However, and I like to put this here, it's not always indigo. So for me personally, I remember when I first started really working with my chakras and I was, doing my own meditations and I'm doing my inner work and seeing my chakras and opening my chakras and having them all connect. I would traditionally always start at the root and see it in red and let that go. And then going up in orange and yellow and green. And some people, again, see that the green, the heart chakra in pink, the throat in blue. But for me, every time I tried to see the indigo, that deep, dark, blue purple, I can't see it. Like, it would never turn that color for me, ever. My color that I see for my third eye is violet, and mine is violet. And we'll get into it next week, or I'm sorry, the next chakra we will talk about, is traditionally the crown chakra will be violet, but mine doesn't. My third eye is violet. And so the more research I did, actually, it can be somewhat common. People, it's either indigo or violet. And it's going to be different for each person, and you're going to have to trust it for yourself. No one can really tell you, and that's something that you will know inside and try to visualize it, which is part of the third eye, which we will talk about later in the episode as we work on our healing parts for the chakra. The mantra for this is I see. The element here, you know what? They say air, but really when you get into the higher chakras here, it's really connected to all of them, to all the elements, because now we're getting into these bigger spiritual aspects. And so it's really a combination of all of these pieces, of all the elements. So in astrology, again, with the zodiac symbols, it's actually connected with all the zodiac symbols. Again, the higher you go, the more it encompasses. But especially Cancer, though. They'll say especially Cancer, but all of them are included. And then as for the planets, it's Saturn and Neptune is what the chakra is connected to. And its cardinal direction is east. So as we are talking about body parts, you can imagine that we're going to be going up into the area of where the third eye is located. So the physical parts in association to the third eye, we are talking about the eyes, ears, nose, the sinuses, again, going into like the optic nerve, definitely a lot of the parts of the brain, kind of like the hypothalamus, talking about your limbic system, which that is responsible for our memory, our automatic emotions, and our stress responses. And for the glands, here there are two major glands that is associated here. And you know what? The research I went into this, like, it's actually a really big deal. And one of them in particularly, which I will talk about in just a minute. So the glands here are pituitary and the pineal glands. The pituitary gland manages hormones that affect growth, metabolism, blood pressure, and the sexual and reproductive functions. Now, the pineal gland. So I'm going to give you kind of like the definition for it, but this is really big when it comes to the chakra. So the pineal gland creates serotonin and melatonin to regulate our sleep and wake cycles. This is believed, the pineal gland right here is actually believed to be our connection between the physical and the spiritual worlds. So, interesting fact, okay, I found this here in the research, is that the pineal gland also secretes a psychedelic producing substance, right? Actually, it's a couple of substances that I couldn't pronounce even if I tried, so we'll just leave it there. You can do your own research on that, which are present in birth, death, and in times of intense bliss, okay? This intense bliss and all of that, they are actually doorways to other dimensions. So, at least for me, like, how incredible is it? We have a gland inside of us that not only is extremely important for our physical well being, but is highly connected and known to be like essentially that gateway or that gland that allows us to connect outside of this physical plane. For me, it just kind of blew my mind and it was amazing just to hear. I guess for me, I just felt a lot of truth with that. And there is research out there. So feel free to go into it if you really want to know more about it. Because I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in this. I'm just sharing this new information I just found out. So. Okay, I know our favorite and dreaded part is to understand the illnesses and the ailments that are so in association to our third eye. So again, when our third eye is blocked or when it's imbalanced and we are not running a clear energy through our third eye, it causes certain side effects and illnesses within us. And some of those physical ones include headaches and migraines, vision and hearing problems, memory loss, dizziness, insomnia, blood pressure issues, as well as brain tumors and strokes. On the psychological and the emotional side here, it also is associated actually very often to mental health problems, learning disabilities and impairment, obsessive compulsive disorder or OCD, depression, and nervous breakdowns. Again, this is not all limited to, there are others, but I put in the most common that are linked here with the blockages of the third eye. So let's talk about the chakra health, right? So a healthy chakra, a healthy third eye chakra. Actually, this is beautiful. People with a balanced third eye are the most creative, imaginative, and fully connected to their intuition. They have an awareness of their spiritual self and can easily see the bigger picture for themselves and the world around them. They are often described as the awakened person because they connect with their higher consciousness and are incredibly powerful manifestors. And they also have a positive and healthy connection to life. And so again, when you have this healthy chakra, you're going to see this is where you're going to see a lot of the healers in the world, right? This is where it really open. And when I say healers, we're not just talking about, like what I do or anything else. While mine is open, doesn't mean it's always fully balanced, but we're even talking about like therapists and the social workers, where I talk about those light workers and all those beautiful people where they are led to help people and have a bigger vision of, I guess, assisting other people in seeing a bigger picture or the bigger frame rather than just a surface meaning. So let's get into what it looks like being blocked. So an underactive third eye chakra can only see, these people can only see the obvious or surface meanings, having self-doubt, a lack of direction, difficulty visualizing or planning the future. They may want change, but unable to see how. They're unable to make clear and simple decisions and suffer from headaches and migraines. Now, an overactive chakra, again, our energy wheel is moving faster than it should be, which in fact, I'm going to say too, our higher chakras actually spin faster than our lower chakras. And so for an overactive third eye chakra, that is spinning pretty radically to be an overactive. But this would cause, or this person could, I don't say would, but could have signs of fantasizing and overthinking without action, having poor concentration. That's a really big one in this. Not living in the present, So either being stuck in the past or more often anxiety of the future, obsessiveness, again, that OCD, stuck in negative thought patterns. And again, it kind of goes with both sides of having those headaches and those migraines. Because think about it, that energy is moving so fast, as well as moving a little bit under. It can definitely cause that in this area. The third eye is our access point to transmute the energy of light, our higher selves, the divine sources, and other higher consciousness. It can only translate light. So if you perceive more fear or other lower vibrational feelings, like shame, resentment, judgment, things like that, that part would be activated by your ego self, the mind self, and not the third eye chakra. And so now it's just being aware. So your third eye chakra, and this is how you know the difference if you have a balance or imbalance. And again, within the research I found, when you have an imbalance, it's actually really hard to tell. Because number one, if you're not fully awakened and you have this imbalance, you kind of wouldn't really know the difference. Once you've awakened it and then you start seeing a slowdown or feeling a little bit of that imbalance, it's easier to understand or find those imbalances to make the changes. Because this goes here into understanding that ego-based consciousness to the awakened-based consciousness, which is an episode I did in season 1. If you don't understand that, you can go in there. So the point is part of this healing process, and what we're going to go down into all these healing tools, but one of the biggest healing processes here is to put yourself in positivity. It is changing your thought process. That is one of the most healing acts you can do for your third eye, is now thinking positively. It's thinking better about yourself. It is putting more positivity out in the world rather than holding on to the lower vibrating emotions. And that's the point of that. So other healing tools that you can do that will assist you along this journey here of opening that up and doing wonderful things with it is, of course, we're going to go into its color, right? So the color is indigo and or violet. So you want to wear more of these colors. You want to use meditation and run these lights through your system and bringing it in right into the chakra. It's visualizing this chakra spinning at a healthy speed, and it's full of this beautiful color light and everything as well. You can work with crystals that are associated with this chakra. And to name a few to get you started would be amethyst, labradorite, fluorite, blue celestite, and lapis are really good to work with the third eye. So there are many different exercises and other things that you can do to help and warm this up or to reawaken this third eye or expand it. There are, of course, yoga poses. I looked up a few just to get you started, but please do your own research. But there is easy pose, child's pose, and tree pose are just to get enough to get you started there. But meditation is going to be one of the most beautiful and healing acts that you can do with this chakra, because it stops you and it stops that active mind, right? That ego mind. And that's when I talk about the active and the ego mind, this is our running lists. These are our worries. This is the one that we're trying to control so much and going at this really fast pace. So when you can take time to sit down and slow it down, doesn't mean you have to go to nothing, okay? It is just to slow it down, close your eyes, and just allow visions or colors. It doesn't matter. It's just allowing things to come into your mind that you can see. It's bringing focus there on the center of your forehead, closing your eyes, almost seeing like an eyeball opening, and just allowing information to flow. No judgments, nothing at all. It's just allowing it there. Again, that goes with visualization. So that imagination and visualizing is another powerful exercise to strengthen your third eye. And you can go as simple as imagining, it's just picking anything, closing your eyes, and I want to imagine a rose. So close your eyes and start imagining every detail and try to see it in your mind. That is part of strengthening that third eye. It is part of connecting with that clairvoyance. It's being able to see as much detail as you can with your eyes closed. Imagine seeing the face of someone you love. You can do it with anything. Intention is another powerful tool because, again, without this focused thought of putting energy towards something, it kind of doesn't really happen. Intention is powerful. Put intention there that you want to open it up. You want to heal it. We want to bring balance. And then, of course, I'm going to mention here that I have a couple of other episodes, from previous seasons that you can go into. Like I just said a few minutes ago, the ego-based consciousness, that's in season 1. So if you are not well versed in that, just to give you an understanding. And then intuition is a really good one too in season 2, because again, it would also be connected with a third eye. So if you are someone who love aromatherapy and essential oils, here are some of the ones that would work and help opening the third eye, which is lavender, clary sage, and frankincense. Now, you want to eat foods with intention to open this. This would be your purple foods, right? Purple, natural purple foods. You got your purple grapes, purple kale, purple carrots, purple cabbage, eggplant, blueberries also fall in here, and which is really funny because as I'm naming all this, I am watching the screen. I see Copper's face give me a really gross look.
I have an aversion to purple food.
Okay, that's funny. Well, I'm glad there are so many other options that you don't have to use food, so just rub some essential oil there. I'm sorry, it was so funny, you totally grabbed my attention. But that's perfect because that brought me up. So remember, if you can't do one of them, like if you have this huge aversion, these do not sound appealing. Like, it's okay. Do something else. It's a combination of other things. And so there are herbal teas. Again, I'm an herbal tea drinker, so I wanted to start adding these in here. So some of the ones that I found that are really good and truly connected with the third eye is Eye Bright. I'm not familiar with that one, so that's a new one for me. Bilberry, star anise, mugwort, lavender, juniper, and rosemary. And there's a brand called Buddha Tea. I like Buddha Tea. They have lots of fun little mixes. They actually make one specifically that says third eye chakra. It's amazing. So you can go in there and do your research and use that if you're a tea drinker and choose to do so. And then we have affirmations, the powerful phrases that we say that sometimes we lie to ourselves until we believe it. And we say these over and over again. And it starts with, I trust my intuition. My thoughts are peaceful and positive. I am wise. I honor my inner knowing. I am a divine being. And all of the statements are true. And the thing is that whether you don't believe that's where you're at right now, you are fully capable of every single piece. Don't ever look back at where you were saying, oh, I really don't feel like my third eye is open. I don't feel like I'm in that space. First of all, if you're listening to this episode, you have been guided to listen. Awareness is your first step in anything. I believe I have said this in every single episode, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Because the one thing I hear all the time with my clients and other people I speak to is, I wish I knew this earlier. Why am I not where I need to be? Like, it's really hard to hear. Stop. Because you know now. And when you know now, this is the only time and space in the present time where you can change it, where you can either choose to heal it, put intention towards something, expand it, accept it, or even ignore it, honestly. But your power is now. The third eye translates duality. This is so beautiful and it's so interesting here. We are divinely made of opposites. Think about it. Like, we are made of positive and negative charges and energy. We are a combination of masculine and feminine energies also. Good and bad, light and shadow, etc., etc. But not only that, is that our bodies are made of opposites, essentially, right? Which means we are purposefully made whole and balanced. But it's also why our body is made of pairs also. Right? We have pairs of eyes, ears, arms, legs, so on, so forth. This balance and all of it is what makes us a fully whole person, but not just a person. We're not talking about just that human experience, but our soul selves. Everything is balance. This third eye, it gives us sight because, of course, we believe what we see. So this is why this is an important ability that we chose to have as a human being, right? To connect with our soul self, because our ego self is still connected and will always be connected while we are having this human experience. So the more that we can see, the more we believe. But this third eye and the part about it of giving us sight and having that belief is to bring what is inside of us out into our reality in the world. It's what we spent last week's episode, we talked about manifestation. It also comes here from the third eye. That's where that creativity pieces also come from, and where we see and we bring that imagination and we bring it to life. It is a powerful chakra, one of the most powerful, and it is such a high vibrating chakra. It is beautiful. But again, it kind of connects with that whole manifestation piece, but it takes so much trust and faith because we have to believe all those pieces that we see. We have all the answers within ourselves. There is actually no reason. And the more open and more balanced this chakra is, the more you come to an understanding and awareness that there are no answers outside of yourselves that you need to seek. Every answer, every single one, is located within. You just have to learn to tap in and to trust it and believe it. So I hope you enjoy this episode of Bringing Up the Third Eye Chakra. And for further assistance, if you would like guidance in opening the chakra, please listen to the bonus episode coming up next on Third Eye Chakra meditation. So until next time, you beautiful souls, be kind to yourselves. With so much love and gratitude, I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode. My hope today is that the message continues to guide you along your path to healing. To learn more about me and my purposeful work, visit my website at abouthealingmedium.com. You can also follow About Healing Medium on Facebook and Instagram, where you can find the episode's healing guidance, quotes, tips, insights, and chances to win free stuff. To ask a question or to share comments, email me at abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com, or feel free to reach me on Facebook and Instagram at About Healing Medium. Until next time, be kind to yourself.